Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video, and welcome back to another video in our European series. We are in Munich. We have the Opel Mach-E that Timon is taking back to our apartment. We have the Honda E that's just been dropped off that we're going to explore, and my friend Andre from Inside EVs is taking the Volkswagen ID3 to shoot some videos of his own. I will link those in the description. We have a ton of electric cars here in Germany that we'll be testing. This is just a sampling of what we have in the stable right now, but this really cool Honda E was just dropped off from Honda Germany. A big thanks to them for arranging to get us this car. It was no small feat, that's for sure. This was a pretty difficult find. We're gonna jump in, take it for a drive around the city, explore its features and quirks a little bit, and just see what this little city car is all about. This is the really unique and very personable Honda E. It's sold here in Europe as this sort of, I don't even want to say experimental project. It's just a great city electric car. It's so neat. First of all, the styling is really pleasant. The lights are flickering here on the video, but in real life, of course, they're not. It has such a personality, a sort of a happy face to it. It's a friendly looking car all around. This car costs very expensive, actually, is my understanding. This one does not have a window sticker, but speccing them out and talking to people, this is about 40,000 euros. Before incentives, of course, but still a lot of money for a very interesting, intriguing little hatchback. This particular one has been getting a ton of attention driving it around, and people are just absolutely loving this car here. There goes Andre in the ID3. See you later. And we are gonna go jump in this and take it for a little drive. Before we do, let me take you on a quick tour, exterior and interior, and show you all around this thing. The Honda E has about 100-mile range. I don't actually know the full ratings. Of course, in EPA, this car is not rated, but I did a 70-mile-per-hour highway range test that will go live on our Inside EVs US channel. And on the highway at 70 miles an hour, it got about 83 to 85 miles, if I remember correctly. So I've had a chance to drive this on the highway. That was just last night, and it was so intriguing and so interesting. And 85 miles on the highway, well, it's better than my smart car as a city car, and really, what more can you ask for? This car is not really meant to leave city centers, just to get you around, and I think it's perfect for that. So you have $40,000 cost roughly. I obviously don't know what the US would be. It's not sold there. Every market has different reasons for pricing, more than just the direct transfer rate. So let's just say roughly 40 grand, about 100-mile range, mixed driving, a 35 kilowatt hour usable battery pack or so, and it just looks so cool. It's rear wheel drive. It's got quite a bit of torque. Let's jump inside. Before we jump in, let me just show you the charging port here. There's a little button that pulls up this flap. It does have CCS, of course, so type 2 on the top, the 2 DC pins. It peaks at around 50 kilowatts. It had about, I want to say, an hour and 10 minutes, hour 15 minutes, 0 to full. We'll have a full DC charging video, of course, on this car. The door handles are really interesting. As I approach the car, I can click unlock. They pop open. It will also do this proximity. When you open up the car, forgive a few of the papers here on the ground, but look at that interior. It's so pleasant. You have sort of this floating center console design with the typical Honda shifter. You have a one-pedal driving, drive modes, parking brake, really nice tactile controls here, a split screen display. There's actually 3 displays across the center of the car, and then you also have your mirrors, your digital mirrors built in on the side here. Now these are illegal in the United States. So this is actually the first car I've ever driven with digital mirrors, and it took me a little bit of getting used to. There's 2 settings inside this mirror. You can see there's me, and that's pretty funny. There's 2 settings. There's one which is a narrow view setting, which I didn't really like, and then I switched it to wide, and it was much better. These back doors open as well, which is kind of nice. Almost no legroom for me, but plenty of headroom. Really cool looking seat belts, of course. This one is a maxed out Honda E, is my understanding, so it has all of the options. The back end of this car, I think, looks ridiculously good. I love this sort of light here, this red light in the taillights. It's just such a pleasant car. In terms of trunk space, it's actually pretty good. If you take a look in here, you can see it comes with a charging cable, of course. A little bit of another charging cable, I guess. And then of course, you know, just your back seats into the car. Very standard manual trunk. Overall, this thing is pleasant. It looks great, and I'm excited to get it out on the road and see how she drives. Today's video is brought to you by EV Wash. You can see here I'm using the waterless wash solution on the hood of my electric smart car, cleaning it up. Very cool. More cool than what's inside of this bottle is actually the way that you can refill it. Once you run out of your solution inside the bottle, come back here. This is a sustainable washing company, again, branded EV Wash. You take your biodegradable refill pouch that you purchase on their website, fill back up your bottle. It's a lot less expensive and better for the environment than just buying new bottles every time you run out. EV Wash, the link is in the description. Use the code OUTOFSPEC30 for 30% off your full EV Wash kit order. Support the companies that support us for making these videos possible. Welcome to the inside of the Honda E, and first of all, it's just such a pleasant and different experience. The car feels very wide considering the width of the car. Also, not having any door mirrors means you know, the car just kind of ends right at the door, which is a very odd thing to think about. It makes squeezing through tight places really nice. I will say over here by the climate controls, my knee actually hits the heated seat button when I'm driving. So if I'm kind of driving in a little bit closer driving position, like on the Autobahn, if we're going quick, my knee tends to turn on the heated seat controls. So I will say I've tested the heated seats thoroughly. They heat up really fast, so they let you know right away. Let's see, this infotainment system is good. We can go through all this when we do a full review of the car. This is more of a first taste. Let's put it in drive. Let's put the drive mode in normal. Make sure the steering wheel's adjusted, all good. And let's take it for its first little, oh, I gotta hit drive again. Drive, one pedal driving on. There we go. This is just so neat. The steering wheel is really nice leather in it. Sort of this wood integration here in the middle as well. It's a very small car. And let's just go to the right and we'll test the acceleration. It's fast. It's really fast to about 50 kilometers per hour. This thing is tuned for just off the line, jumping in front of the car. It's actually really impressive. We're at about, again, 76% state of charge right now. And it's just such a pleasant driving experience. You feel like you're sitting, you know, sort of in this little tiny machine, but there's screens everywhere. I don't know how to describe this to you. It's really kind of a cool experience. Let's go into sport mode. We have a little bit of open road here, so let's foot down. Yeah, good acceleration. Still moving. Really good acceleration overall. A really fun package on the road. It feels quiet at speed, and it has an air of premiumness to it. The seat materials are really nice. This natural wood throughout the cabin really brings in this texture of modern with some previous, or I should say some legacy, if you will. We're gonna rip around the roundabout, head back the way we came. So let's test some of the handling through here. There's a tractor in front of us. A nice 5 Series wagon. So here we go. We are in sport mode and going around the roundabout. Whoa, it feels good. A lot of body roll though. And powering through. Nice. Feels really good and nimble and quite hilarious. I think we just scared everyone zigging through there so quickly. I have to say, that's a pretty impressive nimbleness paired with all of that torque down low. A lot of you guys may not know this, but I actually drive an electric smart car every day, which is right in this same class of vehicle. And the reason I drive a smart car is because I need something small and quick and easy and electric to just fire up, rip into town, head back to my house and just plug it back in and not worry about it. And this fits the bill perfectly. This is you know, about the same size, maybe a hair bigger than the Smart. I gain rear seats, so it's more practical. It's got so much personality, so much presence. Everyone looks at it. We get thumbs up, even here in Munich, which is car capital, and people are really loving this. What do you say we test this in some real city environment, because that's what this car is meant to do, and we'll see how it does in sort of the tight stuff. The nice thing is with the traffic lights in Europe is they go red, then yellow, then green. So you know that you can kind of get, you know, working. Green, go. Boom, rips off the line. And then it still rips pretty good. it just kind of dies around, I'd say 60 to 65 kilometers per hour. Then it feels a little bit more normal. But for the 35 kilowatt hour battery pack with that rear wheel drive grunt, I don't know the exact power output, but it's got to be a ton of torque from zero. They did not hold back on the launch of this car. Because it's rear wheel drive and you can also turn traction control off, it should mean you can kind of slide it around a little bit. I don't know if I know of a place where I can do this near Munich, so I don't expect to be doing any drifting stuff in the Honda E, although if I was back in the US, you can guarantee I would be it's just crazy off the line. I would be sliding it around. I want to make a quick note about these side view mirrors. They work really well now that I have them in wide view mode. Super interesting. And then there's a little button on the end of the turn signal that will allow me to put these little markers on, and that says, you know, sort of a distance indicator. I still find though, in tight parallel parking scenarios, in situations where you know, I have to do tight maneuvering in like a parking garage, the weird part is when I move my head, like I would try and get a better view of the road, you know, around a mirror when I'm trying to peek around something. Obviously they're camera screens, so they don't bend, your field of view doesn't change. That's really the only thing that's a bit unnerving. In terms of driving around normally though, it's good. It's just like if there's a car in your blind spot and you kind of want to peek up and see if you can get around, you're not able to do that. So I understand why I've been seeing cars in Europe with the electric or digital side view mirrors, but then they put a little stick-on mirror on top of it. It looks pretty tacky, but it's at least practical, and I understand there is a benefit of having a physical glass piece there, and maybe this is something that just gets better with time. The rear view mirror is also electric in this case, or I should say digital. Why am I saying electric? But I can also put it back to a traditional glass piece. But I'm trying to force myself into the digital world here and forcing myself to use the digital gauges of the Honda E. I'll save the whole infotainment system for another video because it's just so interesting and really cool. It just spun the tires off the line. Let's head into downtown Munich, test this thing on some tight roads, and then that'll be a nice first taste. We'll of course do a full Autobahn review of this car. It's not crazy fast, but like every car we're testing, I'll get this up to max speed and share what it's like pegged at the limiter. We are now inside the Munich, I think it's called Umwelt zone. This is pretty interesting. You need a green sticker on your windshield in order to enter these zones, and they're only for emission-friendly vehicles, I believe. And the way this works is I think any modern vehicle is allowed in the Umwelt zone, and it's possible that this is only valid for certain times of the day. For example, today it's a weekend and it's pretty desolate down here. But this car, of course, being electric and new, has the green little label for the Umwelt. There's a nice i3, a lot of little electric city cars here. It's amazing driving around Germany compared to the US because in the US there's probably 8, 10 Teslas, 20 Teslas for every one non-Tesla electric car that you see. Here, though, I barely see any Teslas, and maybe that shouldn't come as a surprise. It's a German car market, of course, but it just goes to show that especially in cities, you don't need a ton of range. Something like this is perfect, and the general public is picking up on this. There's Renault Zoes everywhere, electric smart cars like I drive on every single corner. It just takes a little bit of a mindset change. There's also quite a lot of charging points around the city, a lot of level 2 or even 20, you know, level 2 22 kilowatt AC. We don't have 22 kilowatt AC in the US for charging. This is a 3-phase unit. And I believe the Honda E does not have 22 kilowatt AC. I believe this can do 11 kilowatts. Anyway, it's been more than enough. You can actually set your charge limits in this vehicle as well to say, hey, don't charge past 80 or 90% when you're at home or when you're away from home, which I think is smart. So if you're out traveling, you can set it to 100% if you're in the city. But for nightly charging, you can have it only charged from, you know, to 50, 70, 80%, whatever you would like. And I think that's a great feature to preserve battery longevity. Okay, now we're going on some of these little tight roads, and this one's not too bad, but the Honda E feels right at home. I mean, the Mini Cooper feels big and looks big compared to this, and I believe we've reached a dead end, so this is a perfect opportunity to test the maneuverability. Amazing turning radius, look at that! This is just going to be a little 3-point turn, but we are in like the tightest section. See, this is where the mirrors are a little bit weird. And then we're good to go. Pretty awesome. And just tons of torque to get up to speed. Really a pleasant driving experience here. Let's go straight, actually. We'll go across the way. 30 zone. Yeah, quiet day today in the city with the Honda E, but it feels right at home. It's maneuverable. I can, look at this, maneuver it around, really fun. It's a pleasant car. There's an electric smart, of course, and I have to say I'm really loving it. I think it has the perfect size range. It actually might even have a little bit more range than I would need. It is a pleasant looking car, and overall is a these people are just crossing down the middle of the road. I don't understand. Oh man, this is so interesting driving around here, I have to say. Germany is an amazingly diverse place in terms of automotive experiences. You get stuck in really tight traffic downtown. We're still kind of a little bit on the outskirts. You can go as fast as you want on the highways in certain sections, and then some people don't drive that fast. I don't. It's very interesting. But anyway, Honda E might just be the perfect city car if you live in a city. And not having wing mirrors is a real benefit in the city. I mentioned that the digital mirrors take some time to get used to and they're a little bit awkward. But when you put digital mirrors in this, it just, the width of the car is so much decreased that you can fit just about anywhere. It's really cool, really cool. So thanks for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. I know this was not really like a test per se, more of just a little experience of this in the city. Is the Honda E the perfect city car? I think is probably the question that I would ask, and the answer is I think so. We have, you know, I showed you a few cars that we have right now in the stable that we're testing this week, and whenever we have to go downtown, for example, I had to go to the Apple store the other day, whenever I have to do something sort of in the city, this is the car I'm grabbing the keys to, because it's just so pleasant, it's so fast. That's what I really like about it. It's got city acceleration. The 0 to 60 is probably nothing because it dies up top, but what you need in this environment, man, does it perform more than adequately well. And with that, I think I'll leave you. It's so hard to see the stoplight actually around this giant driver assistance camera thing here in the center. That's why I keep moving my head around. So with that, I'll leave you with a quick launch when the light goes green, and then we will say goodbye until tomorrow's video. Go! It is Tesla-like acceleration off the line, no question. Really very spicy. See you on the next one.